Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Numerics with Nadia. In today's lesson, we're going to go over how to order fractions, decimals, and percents. Our lesson today is going to be split up into two sections. The first part, we're going to do an overview of percents, what they are, how to recognize them, and then we're going to get into the second part of our lesson where we will order everything we've learned so far. We've done fractions, we've done decimals, and after this review of percents, we will be able to order all of these different types of numbers and we will be able to compare them. So now that we've gone through the game plan for today, let's get into the first part of our lesson. For part one, we're going to do an overview of percents. So a percent is a number or a ratio that is expressed as a fraction of 100. So if you guys remember, we've already done the shortcut method of converting decimals to percent, right? And that was making the denominator 100. A percent is just a number or a ratio where the denominator is 100. And if you've been keeping up with all the videos in this playlist, you're already aware of that shortcut method. If not, I would go back and watch those videos in this playlist prior to this one, as well as the fractions playlist, so you will be caught up on all of the terminology and methods we'll be using today. For now, let's get into some examples of what percents look like. So if we're given something like 3%, that's just a fraction of 100, right? So it'd be 3 over 100. If we had 10%, it'd be 10 over 100. If we had something like 25%, again, it'd just be fraction of 100, right? So 25 over 100. And for our last little example, we have 75%. That would just be 75 over 100. So now that we've done a little concept overview of percentages, let's get into ordering our fractions, our decimals, and our percents. We have done lots of practice up until this point, so this is the last step of being able to compare them all and to be able to order them. So this is like putting all of our puzzle pieces together, right? Everything we've already been learning. And we will demonstrate this knowledge through a few examples. So for number one, the directions say to order the numbers from least to greatest. And the number we're given, they're going to be in varying forms, right? We'll have some fractions, some decimals, and some percents. For number one, we have 3/10, we have 15%, we have 0.2, we have 3/8, and we have 0.09. So the easiest way to go about this is to convert everything that is not already a decimal into a decimal. So looking at the first number we're given, we have 3/10, and we would just write this as a decimal by making it 0.3, right? That 3 is in the tenth spot, so we are good with our first fraction. Moving on to 15%, again, a percent is just a fraction of 100, so we would write this as 15 over 100, and that is the same as 15 hundredths, right? So we could write that as 0.15. Then the 0.2 is already a decimal, so we're all good. For our fourth number, we have 3/8. For this one, we'll do the long division method. We can't use the shortcut method here. So the 8 will go on the outside of the bar, the 3 under the bar, and we'll do our long division. 8 does not go into 3, so we'll draw our 0 in our decimal. 8 goes into 30 3 times, right? 8 times 3 gives us 24. When we do 30 minus 24, we get 6 left over. We'll bring down a 0. 8 goes into 60. How many times? 8 goes into 67 times, right? 8 times 7 gives us 56. So we'll write our 56 down. 60 minus 56 will give us 4. We'll bring down a 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times, right? 8 times 5 gives us 40. That will zero us out. So we will get 0.375 for 3/8. So now that we've got everything in decimal form, let's look back at our directions. Our directions say to order everything from least to greatest. So we'll write all the decimals we already have at this point. The 3/10 was 0.3, the 15% was 0.15, the 0.2 just the same, 3/8 was 0.375, and then the 0.09 is also just the same. So again, looking back at the directions, we need this from least to greatest. So first, we can order our decimals, right? That's the easiest way to look at everything that's in the same form and order it from least to greatest. The 0.09 would obviously be our smallest number. Then we have 0.15. Then we have 0.2. Then we have 0.3. And 0.375 is our largest. And I like to go through and cross these out just so I don't write the same number twice, right? Now that I've ordered all of the decimals, we'll go back and put it in the original form it was given to us in the problem. The 0.09 will stay. The 0.15 was given to us as 15%, so that's what we would write. The 0.2 was also given. The 3/10 we would write, and then we would write our 3/8. And that would be our final answer for number 1. Just as a quick side note, I know that these problems take a lot longer, so we're only going to be doing 3 of them. They are great problems that go and show our knowledge of all the topics, so they are very important, but we'll keep this lesson as short as we can by doing 3 examples. For number 2, our directions say to order the numbers from greatest to least. The numbers we're given are 100%, 0.95, 1.2, 5/4, and 110%. So just like last time, we're going to convert everything into decimal form. It is the easiest way to go about this. For the 100%, let's convert that to a decimal first. 100% is the same as 100 over 100, right? Fraction over 100. 100 over 100 is the same thing top and bottom, so that will just give us 1. Then the next 2 are already decimals, so we'll leave those for now. 5/4. We can use the shortcut method on this one. If we do 4 times 25, that gives us 100. So we'll multiply by 25 top and bottom. 5 times 25 gives us 125. And then we can go through and split this fraction up. The 125 will split up into 100 over 100 plus 25 over 100. We already know that 100 over 100 is going to give us 1, and then the 25 hundredths is the same as 0.25, so our answer for that one would be 1.25. Now we'll move on to the 110%. 110% would still just be 110 over 100. We'll again go through and split our fraction up. The 100 over 100 will give us 1. The 10 over 100ths would be 10 hundredths. So our answer for that one would be 1.10. And now that we've converted everything into decimal form, we can go through and write it out. So we knew that the 100% was 1, the 0.95 will just stay, the 1.2 will just stay, the 5/4 gave us 1.25, and the 110% gave us 1.1, right? So we can order this from greatest to least, right? That's what the directions say. We can do this in decimal form first and then go back to the original numbers that we were given. So out of the decimals, we know that 1.25 is the greatest. Then it would be 1.2, right? Then it would be 1.1. Then it would be the 1. And then 0.95 would be our least value. So now that we've ordered them, we'll go back through and plug in the original numbers that we were given. The 1.25 was equivalent to the 5/4. The 1.2 was just given to us. The 1.1 was 110%. The 1 was 100%. And then the 0.95 was just given to us. So that would be our answer for number 2. Now we will get into our last practice problem for today's lesson. For number 3, it says to order the numbers from least to greatest using a number line. And the numbers we're given are 0.03, 6%, 1 over 50, 0.12, and 1 over 25. So we're going to go through and do the same steps as before. We're going to convert everything that's not already a decimal into a decimal. So we'll start off with the 6%. 6% would just be 6 over 100, right? A fraction of 100. And 6 hundredths would look like 0.06. So that's what the 6% would look like. Now we'll move on to 1 over 50. Now for 1 over 50, we can use our shortcut method. We can just multiply by 2 top and bottom, right? Because 50 times 2 gives us 100. If we multiply by 2 top and bottom, we get 2 over 100, and that would just look like 2 hundredths, right? And 2 hundredths would be 0.02. Now we'll look, the 0.12 is already a decimal, so we don't have to worry about that. The 1 over 25, though, we can convert that into a decimal. We can use the shortcut method. 25 times 4 gives me 100, right? So when I multiply by 4 top and bottom, I get 4 over 100, and 4 over 100 would just look like 0.04, right? 4 hundredths. So now that I've converted everything, we'll write all the decimals out. We have 0.03, 6% was 0.06, then we have 0.02 from the 1/50th, and then the 0.12 was given, and the 1 over 25 was 0.04. Now the directions for this one said to show everything from least to greatest on a number line. So we're going to go through and make a number line now. We'll start at 0 for the number line because none of our values are smaller than 0. And we'll end with 0.2 just so we can really see everything. So now that we've labeled and set up our number line, we'll go through and start plotting them from least to greatest. Our least number is 0.02, right? So we'll go through and label that with the purple arrow. Then we have 0.03 would be our second smallest number. So we'll go through and label the 0.03 with the dark blue shade. And now we have the 0.04 would be our next smallest. That would go right before the 0.05 label mark, right? And we'll show that one in green. And before we move on to the next decimals, let's cross out everything that we've already used. So we already used the 0.04, we've already done the 0.03 and the 0.02, right? So now that we've done that, we have the 0.06 left and the 0.12. The 0.06 would go right after the 0.05. We'll label that one in the red shade. And then the 0.12, that one would go after the 0.10 spot, right? And that one we will label with the light blue shade. So now that we've labeled everything on the number line, we again need to go back and make sure that we answer the question in the terms of all the numbers the way that they were initially given to us, right? So right now we have everything ordered from least to greatest on a number line, but let's also go ahead and write it out. So from the number line, we can tell that 0.02 is the least value, right? And that was 1 over 50. 0.03 was the second smallest. That one was just given to us as a decimal. Then we had the 0.04, and we got that from the 1 over 25. And then the next one was 0.06, right? And that came from the 6%. So we would write 6% above that one. And then our last value was the 0.12, and that's what was initially given to us. So that would be our largest value. Everything is ordered from least to greatest. So the top values are what we were initially given. So that would be our final answer. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it was a longer lesson, but I appreciate your patience. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and feel free to comment any other videos you would like to see. And I will see you guys next time.